Tonight, watch The Voice live and vote to save your fave.
Then on This Is Us, a Thanksgiving episode that'll touch your heart.
I cry at every episode.
I do too. Followed by a very moving New Amsterdam.
It's the biggest night on television.
Tonight on NBC.
And think there's no reason to stay up until 11? Let's do the math. 4 radars, more choppers, and this team equals more coverage at 11. Chuck, Colleen, Fritz, Fred. Call on these 4 before you call it a night. NBC 4 News at 11.
Blog Talk Radio.
Hey, folks, how are you doing? It's Danny Tisdale, and yeah, that's who I am. And, of course, you're listening to the Danny Tisdale Show right in the heart of Harlem. I hope you are all doing well. I'm doing great. I have my water, had a little tea a little earlier, so I'm doing great. And, without further ado, we want to really have a great conversation with our guests about what's going on. But, before we get started, don't forget that you can hit us up at Twitter, twitter.com/HWMag. I'm going to give you just a couple of our handles to go to, but you can put us anywhere, just about on any site, and connect with us. Also, Facebook at facebook.com/HWMag. I'll get it right. And, of course, at Harlem World Magazine.com, and I'm going to get right into it. And we're going to have a very, 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 very interesting conversation today with Diarah. She's founder and president. I think she's going to probably correct me on some of that, of the African Diaspora International Film Festival, ADIFF. It's a not-for-profit international film festival that presents, interprets, educates all about films that explore the human experience of people of color all over the world in order to inspire imaginations, disrupt stereotypes, and help transform attitudes that perpetuate injustice. And there's more that we're going to talk about, but this event is going to be on November 28th. I'm going to take a deep breath because I know you're going to get your pen, your pencil, your phone, and put this date in, November 28th, which is about 10 days plus away from us, and it's at Columbia University. We'll get those details, though, but stay right here with us. We're about to get into it. How are you, Diarah?
I'm great. Thank you so much for, having us, Danny. I'm very happy to have this conversation with you.
Well, and I'm so glad that you're on the show because I think we've been going back and forth for years about the work that you've been doing with the film series. Well, what year is this for ADIFF? Is this your...
It's the number 26.
Wow.
Yeah, 26
26th anniversary.
That's right.
Well,
we started
congratulations.
in 1993.
That is incredible. And I don't know how that works out. If you're 23 and the film series is 26, what am I missing here?
What would you mean? I'm not 23.
No, I'm just messing around.
I know.
But I want to really give you your props. You've been really doing incredible work. And can you tell us, some behind the scenes, why you started ADIFF and a little bit more about the film series, Diarah?
Sure. So the festival this year is starting on November 23rd in Manhattan, and it's going to be running for 17 days until December 9th. We're going to have 61 films from 40 countries. And we have filmmakers coming from all over the place: Mexico, the UK, DRC, Republic Democratic of Congo, and as well as from Los Angeles, from Atlanta, from really all over. And the primary reason why we wanted to, first of all, it's a labor of love.
Yes.
It's my partner and myself, Dr. Spech, who started this thing as a hobby initially, because we love films. We love the art of filmmaking, and we also see, and especially him as an educator, we understand the value of films as an educational tool. And there are a lot of misconceptions about who we are as a people, not only in the U.S., but on a global scale. And we have an international Black Film Festival that really makes, shows the richness and the diversity of the Black experience and the experience of the life of people of color globally. And our intent was really to create a bridge across cultures, even within the Black community, so that folks would understand better each other, see the common realities as well as the differences, and just bring awareness of who we are. We really see films as not only entertainment, but also educational and political messages, and that's what they are. And so the festival,
Go ahead.
And so the festival purpose is really to give a voice to those folks who have an interest in saying things that are meaningful for our reality, give them a platform for them to be able to shine, and at the same time create a dialogue with all of the people who come and see the films.
That's really fantastic, and it sounds like a mission of love, and especially starting out as a labor of love, as a hobby, and then turning it into the important film tool that it has become. And I think Claire is with us. Claire, are you there?
Hi, yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Fantastic. Claire, can you turn your volume up just a little tad so that our listeners can hear you better?
Sure, I'm at the highest volume. Can you hear me now? Or should I just project my voice?
Yeah, just put
the highest.
Put the phone closer to your mouth.
Yeah. I've got it right there. But is that okay?
Yeah, it's good.
That's
to hear
perfect.
You. Okay,
Claire,
I'll just talk loud.
Well, it's great. We can hear you, and it's great to have you on the podcast, and it's perfect timing because I was just about to ask you a question. And first of all, how are you doing?
I'm really well, thanks a lot. And
that's great.
Yeah,
that's
I'm
great.
just really excited. Yeah.
Yeah, and we are too. And I just want our listeners to know this is what we call commitment, folks. Is that she's across the pond calling us to talk about her film, which is our film, No Shade. And without revealing the storyline, Claire, what's some of the questions for you as the director that No Shade asks the viewers?
Wow, I guess it asks so many questions. I'll first start by saying my full name so people know how to pronounce it.
Thank you.
My name's
Claire.
I
need it too.
I thought you may. Clare Anyiam-Osigwe. I'm the writer, director, and I co-star in the film No Shade. It's my directorial debut, and
congratulations!
Just had a UK release. Thank you. And we are actually being distributed by Diarah's the distribution arm, Art Matten, for North America. So once we show the film on Wednesday, the 28th of November, you can then catch the film for a limited run at the Cinema Village in Greenwich, Manhattan from the 30th, Friday the 30th. And I'll be there on the Wednesday the 28th, Friday the 30th, and then the first Saturday the 1st of December with Kadeem Pierce, the lead actor who plays Danny. And hopefully Sharia Samuels will be joining us on Saturday, flying in from Jamaica. Me and Kadeem will be coming from London. So just to give you small context about the film.
Please.
Yeah, it's a romantic drama. It's based on true events. And the question really is, I guess, is there an acceptable shade of beauty? You know, is there an acceptable tone of brown or blackness that is pitted against another shade? And at what point do we say, revert back to the sort of age-old story of aren't we trying to fight for equality so that we're one human race? Or within our own culture, are we sort of saying in a covert manner that actually lighter-skinned blacks are more important than darker-skinned blacks, are in some ways more desirable, more trustworthy, they look better, they are better people. And where is that coming from? Because it's obviously detrimental to a lot of, darker skin, deeper skin, brown skin people with regards to self-esteem and with regards to actually acknowledging your African roots and heritage. Pre-colonial blacks were dark-skinned. All of us were, because we didn't have white counterparts in Africa pre-slavery. So if that was the case and that rich, beautiful history of our melanin was not kind of interrupted and disturbed through slavery and rape, then what would life be like? And since that has happened, is it for us to use it against each other? Wouldn't it be better for us to embrace each other in all of our spectrums of melanin so that we, the powerful we of, blacks abroad, native locally to you, over the pond in London, UK, for us, could work together and build? Because I think if we truly want to address historical and systemic racism, we have to begin to work on ourselves as a people and love each other more. So that's what the film's about, really. More love.
More love. And as we all know, one group or one person cannot get enough of that stuff they call love. And what a great segue to our next question. And I was excited about the film just when I read about it. I'm even more excited about it to hear, Clare, you and Diarah talk about the film. It sounds extremely important, and especially, well, wait a minute. I thought we were in some post-race era, and here we are talking about a film like No Shade, and this is a question, or maybe it's a question, or maybe I'm just putting it out there, but are we in a post-race era? And
who believes
how do
we're in a post-race? I don't. I don't think I don't think, with everything that's happening right now, I don't think anybody would think we are in post-race. But Well, that's exactly why I say it, because of course it makes no sense whatsoever. I'm sorry, it doesn't.
Diarah, go ahead. Yeah,
I mean, the emancipation of the people of color is still a work in progress. Okay, and I think the festival is part of a movement of images and ideas that help bring a better understanding of our human experience. So that's really why we are doing what we are doing, and I think Clare's film is also contributing to that understanding of who we are as a people within a very much racialized environment.
Yeah, and of course, I'm poking fun because, I forget exactly who said it, what said it, when it was said, but something about a post-race era, and I had to look in the mirror, look at my friends, and go, what are they talking about? Clare, did you have any response to, of course, the post-race era we're in? Or is it just so ridiculous that you're not going to even?
Yeah, I'm kind of just a bit like, you only have to look at your president's tweets to know that we are absolutely not in
No, that's Diarah's president, not mine. I'm sorry.
What are you talking about here?
Listen, you guys have to claim that guy. He's in your country. And this is part of it. I think
that's right.
More so than ever, blacks, around the world have to become, and whites as well. Everybody is becoming more and more tribal, and I think because we're becoming like that because everybody is looking for a scapegoat, someone to blame. It's that global crabs in the barrel of feeling like I'm alone. Who do I belong to? Where do I belong? What class? What race? As the world is becoming more interracial, so we're seeing more, interracial couples, black and white, Asian, whatever, people are joining together. But actually what that does for the next generation is then so are you kind of lighter skinned black because of your race? So like one of your parents is white, or are two of your parents black, but you're a fair-skinned black person, which is common in my actual traditional heritage. I'm Nigerian Igbo, born and raised in London. And in Igbo tribes, we have the fairest light-skinned blacks that look almost albino to the darkest, deepest shade of melanin. So for us, that's never been an issue because we've always seen lighter-skinned blacks as just the same as darker-skinned blacks. You're just black.
Right.
But it becomes an issue when you're in the Western world and there is a game and there is a system of the brown paper bag. There has
yes.
like I said earlier, systemic tools that have been used to kind of disenfranchise blacks so that we now see each other as a problem. Who's got softer hair? Who's got lighter shade of brown eyes? Who's got a smaller or bigger nose? And everything that is traditionally African about us we're told that doesn't look good on us, but it can be embraced and adopted by other cultures, and it's so celebrated. You know, people are running out to get plastic surgery. People are taking melanin shots and tablets or tanning to make their skin darker. So then the opposite is fed to us, that you should try, make your hair lighter, maybe bleach your skin. And there is an epidemic of younger girls that are growing up now in the social media age that we live in, and who are thinking, you know what, the common sort of black girl that I see is Latino or a lighter-skinned black girl. Maybe I need to go that way. Maybe I would into a stereotype or the popularity.
That might be the answer.
If I look like that. Right.
Yeah,
when actually it's about you just being yourself.
Who you are.
Everybody is unique. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to get right back to this, but I want to do a quick station ID, Diarah and Clare, and let our listeners know they're listening to the Danny Tisdale Show. It's brought to you as part of Harlem World Radio. And, of course, I'm that guy, Danny Tisdale, and, of course, you're listening to the show. And a great conversation. And I like what Clare was talking about because there's an evolution of sorts or a devolution of sorts where it's not okay for black folks to look black, but it's okay for other folks to look black, but black folks should look white folks should look black, and folks in the middle, I'm not quite sure where they fall, and I guess they fall where they may. Well, if we've gotten to this point, Diarah, does that mean that maybe 20 or 30 years from now, as we kind of continue the conversation that we're having, with across the pond, across larger ponds in Africa to America, that we may get to a point where it's, okay, we just have the option to be whoever we want to be, and that settles it. Or not.
It's a possibility. I mean, I think people do have the option with technology more and more to be who they want to be in a certain way.
Right.
But I think that it's still, if you do that in order to succeed in life, maybe you're doing it for the wrong reason. And that does not eliminate the barriers, the class and the racial barriers that exist today. You're just trying to pass. You're just trying to change your individual situation. We need to bring ourselves to understanding what's happening to have a more collective type of understanding and build together, as Clare was saying very well earlier. So at the end of the day, you could be who you are, who you want to be as an individual, but if we want to progress, we have to think of each other as a collective, which is, again, the reason why we do this film festival, because we bring in, again, we have 40 countries represented, and when you look at the stories, you'll realize that there are so many common realities when it comes to people of African descent, that it is important for us to understand each other, to bring more awareness about those issues, and then just realize that we are just the same as the others, so we can start working together for a better future. That's really so important to me.
Most definitely, and I think part of the I almost used the word answer, which is dangerous, but part of I guess a coming to a realization to me is having a conversation about it. I did a performance. I do have a big head, so one of my hats that I wear is a visual artist. And back in the day, I did a performance called Transitions, and I just projected that in the 23rd century, we'll just have one race, and it's a race where everybody is the same tone. They're not black, they're not white, they're somewhere in the middle. So I thought it would be interesting to instigate that idea. I wanted to talk a little bit about the panel discussion, Colorism, a global phenomena. And that's going to be on the 28th also, but that's going to be, Diarah, at 9 o'clock, 9:30. And Claire, I think you're a part of it, correct?
Yeah. I believe it's happening just after the screening of No Shade at Mist in Harlem.
Yes, that's right.
And that's at 9:30?
Yeah, it's going to start at 9:30. Well, the film starts at 7:30, and it runs one hour, like a little over an hour and a half. And as soon as the film is over, we go right into the panel discussion.
Oh, fabulous. And I wanted to instigate, maybe that's the wrong word too, but, it just amazes me that no matter who it is, the person that we see and the person that looks in the mirror, what they see is not the same. That has to be what plastic surgery answers for the viewer, is that, okay, this is who I am. I don't like what I see, and I want to change that. Claire, I don't want you to kind of give the plot, but does the film, really I'm asking both of you, does the film answer questions or does it provide questions?
I think that the film does provide some resolution, and I think the central message, it leaves a few things, not few things open, but it definitely does kind of come to a head where the main character Jade is a 28-year-old darker-skinned black woman. That's not her definition. That's just what she is. She's 28. She's a woman. She just happens to be dark-skinned. She is a successful photographer. She's a freelancer in London, living her best life in central London. She has a
successful
relationship. Successful, makes her own money. She's an entrepreneur. And she has a best friend called Danny. And her and Danny have kind of like been in love with each other since university. Like they always hang out together. But he's always made it clear to her that he would never kind of make her an official partner because she's too dark for him. And so that becomes evident. Yeah, so Danny's kind of like the antagonist. He's like the one that's causing the drama, and then other men throughout the film perpetuate the same ideals onto her. So before you know it, the irony is that she's a photographer, so she sees the beauty in others. But people don't reflect that and see that back in her.
Herself.
And then she has like a moment of clarity where she's like, you know what? I could try and, change my skin or change my hair, but actually self-love is like an ever-evolving thing. And just to even tie in the plastic surgery and whatever, listeners may not know, but I'm actually a qualified dermatologist. I'm like one of 177 allergists in the whole world. So I can test and treat people for allergies. And I was awarded by the Queen of England last year for my services to the country for formulating natural vegan skincare products for people with who are allergic to mainstream skincare. And basically this story was born out of a client, well, few clients, but one in particular, who was becoming very aware of her dark skin and asked me, Claire, do you think I'm too dark? And I say that as Carla in the film, in the script. Jade says that to me as Carla. And I'm like, what? Who's talking crap. You know, like, why would you even, who would make you say that to yourself?
Right.
Are you too dark? And that's about this projection that happens where we're busy living our best lives and we're enjoying. But then people are disturbing you, interrupting you, whether it's, you know, clients that come to you or guys that are, like, trying to check you out, but then go, oh, you'd actually look a lot better if you was kind of a bit lighter. Have you ever thought about lightening your skin? You're like,
lightening your cheeks.
I look better to who? Like, to you? Why would you even ask me to do that? And the funniest thing in most cases that I've heard about, even has happened to me, is that the guy is usually darker skinned than the woman.
Right.
So it's kind of like, dude, like, you're darker than me. Like,
right.
But
What
it
are you
seems
talking
to be
about?
kind of okay for men to be dark skinned and date every kind of shade of black. But with black women, it's like we would prefer. And my thing is this: preference is a wonderful thing. I think everybody has the right to fancy whoever. For some men, it's like, you know, blondes, brunettes, or fair-skinned women, or green eyes, or a big bum. That does it for me. Great. The issue with colorism, like most things, like racism, is that it becomes an issue when you degrade somebody based on their inherent biological, natural being.
Right.
When you tell somebody that they are less than someone else or something else based on something that is inherent and beautiful and natural to them, that's my problem. If you don't know anything about somebody's color, then I'm good with you.
Well, and I completely agree with you, Claire, other than the fact that my experience has been is that, you know, both sexes are pretty much the same. You know, there are some who just love you, some women who love you the way you are, and then there are some who, you know, you can kind of look at their past relationships and they like a certain kind of guy who's light skinned,
Sure.
He's got light eyes, you know, he's got straighter hair. In my case, he has hair, you know. I had to say that, I'm sorry.
That's a good one.
You know, I believe it or not, ladies, we are at our last 3 minutes.
Oh,
and,
wow.
I know. And Claire, I have to say this. I almost feel like saying Lady Claire to you after getting the signage from, did you say the Queen of England?
Yeah, you know, the funny thing,
wow.
Real quickly, is that, Danny, my actual real name is Lady Claire. On my birth certificate and my passport, my actual name is Lady Claire.
Oh. If I ever see you again, that's what I'm going to say. Lady Claire!
We'll talk about that myth. You can ask me what that was all about. And I'll explain my crazy mum. And
I just want to say that Lady Claire will be with us. She's flying in from the UK to New York next week. And she'll be at the screening of No Shade. That's going to be the New York premiere of No Shade at Mist Harlem. The screening starts at 7:30 p.m. But if you want to have a larger perspective about the issue of colorism, we're going to have 2 films before Claire's film, which also deals with the issue of colorism, and that starts at 5 p.m. So you can take a day pass and, you know, really get a global perspective and understanding of the issue of colorism. And then, as Claire said, we're going to have at Cinema Village a theatrical run of the film starting on November 30th, and she'll be there for the weekend for Q&As. So I hope people come out. It's a really important, interesting film. Claire is a wonderful speaker, very knowledgeable, and I think we'll have a really good time.
We will. I can't wait to see everyone. Get your day pass.
Most definitely. And Diarah, you took my thunder because I was just about to turn to you and give us all the information. And Diarah, can you give some URLs or phone numbers if people want to get those tickets, because we're going to be pushing hard, and we have been pushing hard to get our readers, listeners to buy tickets. Can you give a URL or any information about where folks can go and get tickets?
Yes, the website is NY, that's for New York, ADIFF, that's F is for film, F is for festival.org. So NYADIFF.org, and the phone number 212-864-1760. Or you can just Google African Diaspora International Film Festival and you'll find us.
And look for the link at the bottom of this post that we post for this conversation. And ladies, thank you so much. We're at the last 20 seconds. Thank you, Diarah. Thank you, Lady Clare, for being on the podcast. And look forward to seeing you on the 28th. Have a great weekend.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, folks, for listening in. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Tonight, watch The Voice live and vote to save your fave.
Then on This Is Us, a Thanksgiving episode that'll touch your heart.
I cry at every episode.
I do too. Followed by a very moving New Amsterdam.
It's the biggest night on television.
Tonight on NBC.
And think there's no reason to stay up until 11? Let's do the math. 4 radars, more choppers, and this team equals more coverage at 11. Chuck, Colleen, Fritz, Fred. Call on these 4 before you call it a night. NBC 4 News at 11. Think there's no reason to stay up until 11? Let's do the math. 4 radars, more choppers, and this team equals more coverage at 11. More breaking news, more first alert weather, more news chopper force, more investigations. Chuck, Colleen, Fritz, Fred. More experience for you. So no matter how you watch them, it's a no-brainer. Get more and call on these 4 before you call it a night. NBC 4 News at 11. For you.